Hello friends, welcome back to my channel iTechShare, a channel to connect, discuss and share. As you know, we are in the Crack the Interview C# series where we are discussing about various industry standard interview questions and answer topic by topic. In last episode, we have discussed about polymorphism in details. Here we are going to discuss specifically about virtual method, abstract and interface. These three things are very close to each other and sometimes as a programmer we used to get confused. Post this session, I hope we'll have better understanding about the differences among these three and when to use what. So our first topic today is virtual method. Virtual method is the method which can be override in derived class. But we all know that abstract method also providing the same overridable feature, right? Then, what is the difference between a virtual method from others? Virtual method comes with optional overridable feature. That means in base class, you can have the full implementation of virtual method. And in derived class, it's up to you if you just want to use the same method as implemented in base class or want to give it a new implementation by overriding it. Sometimes for some of the derived class, we need to add different functionalities. But for some, it may be the same. For those cases, this is the perfect approach. Happy learning. So here in this example, you can see here is one employee class which is having one virtual method called record attendance. This record attendance is printing here record employee attendance. Now we are having one class like admin employee which is deriving from this employee class, and we are not doing anything with this record attendant method here. I mean, we are not providing any overridable features for this method. We are just leaving it as is. Let's see what it will happen. Now there is another class called contact employee which is also deriving from this same base class employee, and inside it we are overriding this record attendance method with a new implementation where we'll be printing the things like record contact employee attendance. Now if we're just going to create two different objects from these two different classes, I mean two different derived classes like admin employee and contact employee, and post that, here you can see that we are printing the same record attendance method. You can see the magic of virtual methods over here. First of all, it will not throw any error, though in the first derived class we are not overriding it. And in the first derived method, as we are not overriding it, it is going to print the same thing which is mentioned in the base class, and that is record employee attendance. But in the second object, which is we are creating from the contact employee class, where we are going to override the record attendance method with record contact employee attendance message, here you can see it's printing the same thing, and instead of printing the base class method, I mean whatever we are printing from the base class method, instead of that it is printing the thing from the derived class overridable method. So this is the magic of virtual methods. Happy coding. Our second topic today is abstract class and abstract method. Abstract class is a class which can have abstract or non-abstract methods. By referring to abstract method, I mean where you are using abstract modifier with your method name. This type of methods can't have the implementation, and only in derived class you can provide implementation for same. But non-abstract one will be treated as normal method where you can have full implementation. Another very important thing here, abstract class never can be instantiated. That means you can't able to create the object of the abstract class directly. You can only able to derive it to use the same. Now let's get into the example of abstract class implementation. Here in this example, you can see there is one abstract class that I have created named abs employee, which is having two methods. One is abstract method called abs employee record, and another is non-abstract method which is named as non-abs employee record. And here is the derived class that I am deriving from that abstract class abs employee, and derived class name is derived abstract. Inside that we are overriding it that abstract method abs employee record. Now, as I already explained earlier that you will not able to create the object directly from the abstract class, here I am creating the object from the derived class, and with this object you can now call both the methods, abstract and a non-abstract method. So now let's discuss another very important feature of object-oriented concept, that is interface. An interface defines a contract. Any class or struct that implements that contract must provide an implementation of the members defined in that interface. That means your interface should not have any implementation in it. Only the derived class which is going to use that interface can go ahead and provide the implementation for same. So when we are having different implementation in each of the derived class, then we can go ahead with interface. Also, with interface we can have multiple inheritance implementation in place. Now let's go ahead and see how we can implement interface in C# language. So in this interface implementation example, I am going little bit deep. I'm not going to just show you the normal interface implementation. Here I am trying to show you how we can do multiple interface implementation in a same derived class, and that too if your method name is similar in those both the interfaces. It's complicated, right? So here is the example how we can do that. You can see here in the interface IA there is one method name called again that record attendance, and the same method name is also present in the another interface which is interface IB. So now in my derived class which is interface implemented, and here you can see that I am just deriving it from IA and IB, but both having the same method. So you need to provide that implementation for both, but how to differentiate among them? Here is the trick. You need to append the interface name before the method name. So I have mentioned here like void IA dot record attendance, and similarly void IB record attendance. So when I am going to call this thing from my main method, we can see here I am creating two objects, type of interface A and type of interface B, and then I am calling that the record attendance method. So whenever I am using obj to call this record attendance method, that means it will call the implementation from the ia.record attendance. And similarly, when we are going to call objb record attendance, it is going to call the other method from ib.record attendance. Happy coding. So here is the recap of what we have discussed so far in this session. First thing that we have discussed today was virtual method, and as you know that virtual method coming with some optional overridable feature. Then we have discussed about abstract class and some pointers about abstract class here. Very important points these are. First one, that you can't able to instantiate any abstract class, and as we mentioned it earlier also, that if you want to use any abstract class you need to derive it by extending it, and that's the reason abstract class can't be sealed one. So here in the third point you can see that one that I have mentioned, that an abstract class cannot be sealed because you need to extend it to override. The next point should be that in abstract class you can have both methods, abstract method or non-abstract method. Abstract method means the method without any implementation in your base class, and then non-abstract method means that it will have the implementation and you no need to override this one. And another very important point here which I have marked in the color code, that when you can go ahead and use abstract class. So that abstract class can be a best suited options when you are having similar kind of functionalities that you need to implement for same families of the subclasses, and for the same families of subclasses some of the functionalities may differ. In that case you can go ahead for the abstract class. For example, if you have different type of employees like admin employee, then finance employee, HR employee, all these types belongs to employee class, right? I mean those are kind of on a same type of entities, employee, but with different functionalities. So what you can do, you can have implementation through one non-abstract method, and inside that you can have a provide the full implementation which can be common for all these subclasses. And for the uncommon features, I mean where functionalities are going to change, you can have defined something like the abstract method, and you can override it depending upon your requirement in these subclasses. Okay, so then our last item rather was interface. And an interface, as you know, this is a kind of an just contract, and so it's not having any implementation. So derived class has to be provide that implementation for this one. And when you can use that, again, I mean I would say if you're having a different set of families of subclasses, because here you don't have any implementation in your base, right? I mean interface is not coming with any implementation, so you have to provide that implementation in your derived classes. So that's the reason when functionalities are totally different and the families of these subclasses are different from each other, you can go ahead and implement interface. Okay, so thanks for your time, and I hope this will help you to understand better what is virtual method, abstract class, and interface. Thank you. Okay guys, thanks for your time. Hope you have enjoyed it. Requesting you to go ahead and subscribe this channel. Please share among your friends and provide your valuable feedback, because your feedback is really very important for me. I'll be coming up with next session soon. Till that time, happy coding and stay tuned. Good luck for your job hunt.